will assist me in pledging allegiance to the flag, remain standing for invocation. Michelle will have us this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Michelle, if you would.
Bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this time that we can be together and do the business of the city. We want to take time to just pray about the Middle East and the conflict there, and know that all those people are in our thoughts and prayers. And we just pray for as peaceful an end to the conflict as possible. Dear Heavenly Father, please be with us here as we conduct the business of the city, and be with each and every one of us so we can have a clear head and help to strive to do for the future of the city. And all these things we pray in your name. Amen.
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 Okay, thank you for mentioning the Middle East. That is an absolute travesty. What's going on over there? Yeah. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening, and we're going to do a little bit differently on our agenda this this time. I just wanted to point this out. I know you all are aware of this, but our agenda is what sets our meeting. And it's necessary that we have an agenda so that we can conduct the meeting in an orderly manner. So when the agenda is approved this evening, we'll follow the agenda, okay? We're not going to do anything changing off of it or any of that sort of thing. So I'm going to ask you, if you would please, if you have something you want to add or take it off or do anything like that, let's do it now so we can, when we're done with the agenda, we're done with the agenda. So if anyone has anything to add at this moment, take off.
I'd like to add something about
Yes, sir.
airport towing there next.
Okay, where, is it new business, old business, or?
I guess it's old business.
Is
Okay.
it about the company itself or something else?
No, the zoning issues, ordinance issues.
It's a zoning issue at,
Number
on Case
four,
Lane.
number
Yes.
four under old business, zoning issue at airport towing. Is that a fair thing?
Yes.
Okay.
May I would add that first reading of that ordinance as well for the zoning change, because zoning changes.
Jim, this is Greg. I'm sorry, was that airport towing on number 4?
It was, Greg, number four under old business.
Okay, it's gonna be added. Gotcha. I'm with you.
Okay, and we need to correct number four to say first reading. I'm sorry.
No,
Which one
that's-
was it?
It's gotta be added to the agenda.
It's an addition.
nine.
Okay,
Yeah, so
that's,
it would be new, it would be number 9.
Number 9 under new business.
Ordinance 323.
Did you hear that, Greg?
Greg, I sent it to you on email, Greg, and everyone should have a copy of their.
Yeah, I've got that.
It's
Yeah,
it's
323.
the first reading of the zoning change.
The zone change at the intersection.
Yeah, that's 25.
Everyone get that one?
Came back.
Okay.
Do we need to add anything, as far as maybe education on what about the water rate and sewer rate increase?
I don't know anything about it. Now, Bobby may.
I don't know any, I just noticed that the increase was on my bill today. I don't know anything.
Maybe we make that for the next meeting,
Okay,
because
the only
give us
thing,
time to investigate.
yeah, the only thing I know is I got a notice that my sewer rate was going up
Yeah,
12.4.
12.4.
Yeah, but I don't know what, I didn't even know the water rate went up, to be honest with you.
We've been invited to the board meeting a few times.
The water board, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else anybody has? All good? Okay. Then I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the agenda now as amended.
So moved.
Motion by Joe, second. Second by Michelle. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, the motion carried. All right, you have the minutes before you of our last meeting, so if you will take a moment, look at those. And if there are any additions or corrections, now would be the time to point that out as well.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion by Leo to approve the minutes as presented. Is there a second for that motion? All right, second by Angie. Those in favor, again, raise your right hand. Thank you. Motion carries. Treasurer's report, same way. You have that there as well. If you have questions on it, of course, as always, Sean would be happy to answer anything that you have. Anything you want to add to it, Sean, other than the written report?
Just one thing I want to update you guys. The mayor and I had a few discussions on this, and we called our partners down at PNC and KLC, and we were out of the S&P 500 and the dividend stock altogether. 100% money market fund. Just give you a heads up. We got out on the 22nd of September. I just saw a lot of information on shorting the market, so I got nervous and talked to Jim about it. And I said, we're getting 5% annual right now, so we're gonna have to get out of it. So right now, we're sitting safe, just to give you guys a heads up. I report 526 as the end of the month, so we're already up to 528 now since then, so it's going in the right direction again.
Anything giving you heartburn, Sean?
All the shorting going on,
Nothing jumped out at me, but is there anything?
S&P 500. Oh, you mean the overall report? No, the 4.5% on the Fort Bank account's nice. The interest is healthy.
Thank you.
No issues. We didn't make our first check to Oakwood project. We did cut that check this month. It's not in there. It's happened October 4th. So it's just it's a great thing to see Oakwood almost done. So, yeah, it is.
Okay, other questions on the report? Okay. Motion to approve the treasurer's report then?
I move we approve.
Motion by Michelle, second by Joe. Bobby? Those in favor, again, raise your right hand. Thank you.
Approved.
Greg, jump in anytime.
Yeah, I'm good. I said approved. I'm
Okay.
good there.
Okay, the law enforcement report has also been distributed.
I didn't receive the long
It has not been distributed, I don't have one.
No, I didn't receive one.
Okay, that's the reason I don't have one. Fire department report has been distributed. You have one of those, Chief said here, if anybody has questions on, excuse me, on any of that. I apologize for this in my mouth, but I have to have a cough drop, or I'm gonna be coughing my head off.
And my apologies, I did it to you late. Unfortunately, it's just been a hectic week.
Greg, you got anything on the fire report?
He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
Greg?
Yes.
It just came tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry, it just came tonight, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I couldn't find it, what Sean had sent me.
I will say on the law enforcement side, I know Brian Maines was having problems with the new software updates that were taking place, so.
Yes, sir.
Not sure. Same problems, okay.
Well, I thought they said at the last EMS, or that meeting, that they had that ironed out,
They thought they did.
but they don't.
I was up till midnight getting the report finished because we're having difficulty receiving the CADs. They're still working on it. It's a communication error between emails and the CAD system itself. So they said that they would have that fixed within the next 14 days.
Thank you.
Okay.
I do have one other issue, Mayor. if you
Please, if you have something on that, go ahead.
Before we get going much further, I wanted to remind everyone that we are approaching burn ban season. Burn ban for the state of Kentucky is October 15th and will run till December 1. That means that no burning will be allowed during the daytime. You can burn after 1800 out, 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. However, there are stipulations.
It's statewide, Chief, I don't want to.
That's statewide.
Gotcha, go ahead.
Number one, it has to have someone present at all times while it is burning. Any active flames, any live ash has to have someone present. Number two, you have to have a method of extinguishment or control prior to lighting the fire. It has to be on the premises with the fire. Number three, local dispatch must be notified before you light the first ember.
Local dispatch, KS,
Local dispatch.
so the dispatch center.
That is correct.
Okay.
And that phone number is 859-428-1212. All you gotta do is call and tell them. We have some new dispatchers that are coming in, so they should record where you're fighting the fire or lighting the fire, take your name and phone number. That way, if the fire department is dispatched, we will have to respond out. And if we don't see somebody with the fire, if you don't have proper extinguishment for the size of the fire, then according to the state, we can cite you. If nothing else, we've got to report it to the state, EPA and Forestry Division, and then whatever actions they take is on the state. We've done our stuff. However, if you call, I do want to warn you that sometimes reports from one shift are not relayed over to another shift. So if the fire department comes out, don't get angry at us, don't brandish weapons, and don't threaten lawsuits. We are doing our job. We just had an incident like that that occurred last night. Another thing to keep in mind is that you cannot burn synthetic household products. You cannot burn tires, carpeting, plastic, rubber of any type. You cannot burn planks, boards, anything that has been painted or treated. That will then fall under solid waste and waste management. Also, the EPA can become involved at that point. And due to the fact that we've had quite a few calls where people are burning household trash and household products, we have been told that solid waste is planning on cracking down. Those fines can start at $5,000 up. So, please be aware, if they have questions, feel free to call the fire department or solid waste management within the county. Number is listed by Google or the old-fashioned phone books if you still got one. Or dispatch has the phone number as well. If you want to call the fire department, my phone number is 859-468-4848. That's a 24/7 number. You contact me, of course, after 10 o'clock. I'm a little grumpy, but I will do my best to answer your question as rapidly as possible. We've had some circumstances that have been unpleasant for the fire department. It just is what it is. Nobody told us that this job would always be roses and champagne. But some of it I find is very unnecessary, so we are trying to get ahead of it before another one occurs. Any questions? Okay, thank you, folks.
Thank you. While you're there, the Crittenden Ambulance District, anything you want to report on that? We have your written report, but anything?
Monday is supposed to be the next meeting, but I will be out of town. And I have, one of the other members of the board has to teach at Gateway. So the meeting has been postponed until November.
Other questions? Number 4 is ordinance number 322, 2023, parking schedules. This is a second reading. I did want to point out a couple things about this. Jennifer has looked into a great deal of this for us and dug up a lot of material. I'll go with it very quickly. This issue started raising its head, believe it or not, back in 1960. There was an ordinance that was passed which was very rudimentary, but based upon the same problems that you all have been facing today. having to do with emergency equipment, that sort of thing. It went from there to, I think 1964 or so was the next one. 84, I can't read. 1984, yes, was the next one, which was a little bit more detailed, but basically the same sort of things were referenced in that one. And again, it prohibited any kind of parking within the city. Went from that to 1999, where it was amended, basically to, again, restate that parking within the city would be prohibited. Went from there to 1999, another ordinance which was even more lengthy, which looks like it did the same thing, and there was another one after that, but I'm going to just stop on them right there and go to what's current. Today, even as we sit here, the city's code in Article 7, Section 40-300, basically says you can't park anywhere in the city unless it is a, and I'm paraphrasing, a designated spot. The sign will designate parking areas in the city and further designate no parking areas within the city. I don't know of a sign in the city that says there's a parking area. There might be one, but I haven't seen it, but it does say that. And it also goes ahead and sets out several other things concerning it, about the fine and that sort of thing. So really, the difference between what you now have and the difference which is proposed in 322-2023 is this one, which is the one you currently have, allows parking in areas that are designated by sign. This one prohibits parking in the city on city streets. There's the whole thing. That's the bottom line. Now, I know that you all have heard from lots of folks concerning this one way or another. It comes down tonight to either choosing to adopt the one that prohibits it, period, makes it very clear that you cannot, or keeps in force the one that says you can do it by signs that say there's spots where you can, spots where you can't. There are signs that say spots where you can't, but I've never seen one that says where you can. I know I've spoken to Leo about this at some length. I think he's driven the entire city, looking at the roads and that sort of thing. I'm sure the rest of you have too, some of you have. But at this moment, this being a second reading, the floor is open for motion to either retain what we have or adopt 23. So, floor is open. Motion would stand in order to either adopt what we have or leave what's there.
Can I ask a question, please?
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, but it's not on the agenda. That's reading. Council needs to decide this one.
I move that we approve the proposed ordinance 322-2023.
We have a motion on the floor to adopt ordinance number 2023, 2023. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Leo. All right, motion has been proposed and seconded. Is there discussion concerning it?
The difference between the new ordinance and the old ordinance is what we're looking at here, what's been crossed out. This was the
That
old.
is, that's basically true, yes, what's been crossed out. What's been taken out, Leo, is basically the ability to put up a sign that says you can park here on this street. That's pretty much what it says, and giving notice that there may
It's on the
be,
screen if you guys want to see it.
I'm sorry, yeah, it's on the screen
now
if you want to see it. And giving notice that you may be towed if there's 3 violations. Other discussion?
So are there any signs anywhere that say they can park certain places?
Can,
Yeah.
not to my knowledge, Andy, I've never seen one. I've driven the city a few times, and I've not found one. So, Bobby, have you seen one?
No, I haven't.
Leo, did you see one on your cruise?
No.
Chief, you're around all the time. You ever see one?
No, sir.
So I think the answer is safe to say no.
So why would they have even said that you can park where it says you can't park and then never put any signs up? I just,
Because I don't think, honestly, my opinion is they never found a safe place on the street to allow it. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
I think the only thing that's
This
confusing is
is
that.
Greg. I think it's redundant. It sounds like, again, they're both saying the same thing. It's just leaving leeway in there. And again, I think to cut back on, having this come up down the road, we probably need to go with, again, no designated parking. If there's not locations to be able to have that done, why wouldn't we close this loop?
I agree. Other discussion? Ready to vote?
As far as the violation fine of $25, is that in existence now?
Actually, now, I think it's, let me read it to you. Now it is $5 to $10, not less than 5, no more than 10, each day being a separate offense. That takes out the discretion.
And Jim, this is great. If I could ask a question, has that ever been instituted? Do we have history of that?
We have not, Greg. There's never been, to my knowledge, a citation issued for that purpose. To my knowledge, never.
That's what I was thinking too. And who would enforce that?
The code enforcement officer or any police officer.
Okay, that's what I was getting at next, as far as if the police were going to be involved in that as far as writing a parking citation. So I'm just curious if there have been just recently. That answers what I need to hear. Thanks.
Yeah, I've never known it, but there could have been. I'm just not aware of it, if anybody else is. Okay, other questions? Ready to vote? Call the roll.
Okay, Mrs. Bowman?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Morris?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Tanner?
Yes.
Mr. Livingood?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Duzen?
Yes.
Mr. Saylor?
Yes.
Okay, 6 yeses, 0 nays. Motion
Thank you,
carried.
motion carries. Okay, moving next to the storm drain repair project. We have gotten some estimates and some places that need, if I have those, and were they,
Should have a copy here, so,
were they passed out to everyone?
yeah, everybody got an individual copy from everyone.
Okay, everybody got a copy of that?
I stapled them all together, there's multiple.
Yeah, there's multiple, okay. If you look through there, we have, I don't know, how many we identified, 16 or so?
This has 5 estimates located, there's
Yeah.
16 total locations that need repair. Replacement, repair.
Right, and we're not gonna be able, I don't think, to do them all at once, and we probably wouldn't want to at this point in time, because,
Well, it's covered by ARPA.
I'm sorry,
ARPA funds covers storm sewer, storm drain repairs and replacements.
exactly, but are some of these on Barley Circle? The ones on Barley Circle, let's see, which one is that?
Well, there's several on Barley and a couple on Harvest Way and Autumnway, I believe, but the question was, we're looking at the engineer to repave Barley, Milo, and so back to back, so we want to wait on the storm drains until
Barley,
Moving forward,
wheat,
paving.
Barley, wheat, and Milo, we were planning to get engineers to pave next year. They're in pretty rough shape. Now, I know, and I'm gonna hear from people on Harvester, I know that,
It's couple
Harvest Way.
storm drains are pretty rough.
It's pretty rough too, and it needs it, but I don't know that we can do it all at once. So what my plan was to start in the back, do that one, and do Barley Circle, then do Milo and wheat at the time we're doing those. Repair the storm drains then after we do that, so that we make sure that we can get the right levels in there and not have to, take a chance on, putting the storm drain in and then paving and it not matching and having to do something.
Are you speaking of harvesters?
I'm speaking of in the harvesters,
Okay,
but I'm
These
speaking
are-
of
these-
Barley Circle.
okay.
Okay, so what I propose is we not do Barley Circle until we get the paving done on Barley Circle, Wheat and Milo, and then do that part. And then concentrate on the ones that are out, that are not in that, not in that area. You have the estimates there before you, that we've gotten from Eric Walters Services, and he's really the only one who has expressed an interest in doing them. And you're gonna notice that they seem a little bit expensive. They are expensive when you get into it, but now, he can't order precast tops for these. If he could, they'd be cheaper. You all probably know more about this than I do, but he tells me that precast tops, for some reason, for the size or whatever that is with these, he
You
can't
can't
get.
find anybody local to do them.
Right, so he has to build them.
Are you talking about like the ones on Pinhook?
Yes.
Yes.
Them are odd.
Well,
It's
that's what
odd
he
the way
said.
they're designed, it's odd how high they sit up out of the ground.
Yeah, they're not safe. We gotta walk to our mailboxes and
They are,
stuff.
you're right. So I don't, you know, I know that he's telling me this is a good price based upon the fact of the kind of work he has to do. So really, I'm just coming to you all saying, what do you think? You want to move forward with everything outside of barley, circle, wheat, and milo, and then wait on that one and then move back to it later? But address some of the other issues that we're facing while we still have the COVID money. Yes.
Do we know what his bid basis was? And let me build on that. You know, they were quoted individually. There's got to be some economy of scale of doing it
All at once.
collectively.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too.
Yeah.
I mean, I do estimating for a living, and I'm looking at, he's just literally doubling and tripling his price. And generally, when you do multiples, you get a discount, right? You do like 1 or 2 at this price, and then 3 at a lower price, 5 at a lower price.
I'd be happy to ask him that question.
It should be mobilization, to build on what Bobby's saying, it's mobilization, demobilization.
Right.
One concrete truck, one set of carpenters, one set of excavators,
Right.
you know.
When he was asked to bid these though, he was not asked to bid them as a group.
Right.
We kept adding to the list as we saw more and more
Okay.
issues. Eric's been the guy that's done these in the past in our city, and I'll tell you, he's been the most honest contractor I've seen in years about showing not far -1 contractor I know. Honestly, being transparent, not charging us out arm and a leg for things that he didn't do.
Right.
He has. But I can ask him again, you know, if you want to group them
Well-
and say, how about the bidding this group?
Well, and the other thing, right, why don't you have him re-quote them that way as a whole? And then the other thing is, you know, if we don't like it, we can always quote it out when we do the repaving in the harvesters. It can all be lumped in with that as well.
We could.
You know, with, you know, whomever, Rigler, Eaton, they do that type of work as well.
Rigo does for sure.
Okay, so I'll take that out, ask him to rebid everything that is non-harvester at this point.
Can I remind you though, what he saw like a Miller Drive, for example, the structure these are built on in the past are on center block. When he opens that ground up, he's
He
trying
doesn't
to-
know what he's gonna get into.
Yeah, there's an open line item for these
Right.
kinds of work, this kind of work. There's no
Almost,
drawings,
almost like he needs to do
T&M.
well, like a not to exceed, right? This is what I see,
Well,
I'm not gonna exceed this amount of dollars.
Well, one of them he got into, he pretty much had to replace
He
and
won't do
rebuild
not
the
to
whole
exceed.
thing
I wouldn't
because
do
it was, the whole thing was laid up out of concrete block.
These are-
Right,
Yeah, and some of them, they.
The engineering back in the
accidentally-
background, it's a mess. I wouldn't do not to exceed myself personally. I wouldn't do it. There's no way you lose money. They're investing in their ground.
Hey, Tim, this is Greg. In regard to this work, what is the schedule parameters that we've got to play under to get all of it accomplished, or again, by breaking it down with the weather and things?
Okay, I have not discussed that with him yet, Greg, because I really wasn't sure how council wanted to proceed with doing this.
Okay.
I will discuss that with him and see if he can get it done, you know, how quickly he can get it done if we were to go ahead with it this year.
Okay, well, then again, I was just, what Bobby was talking about, going back and putting an estimate together with all of the jobs combined. You know, I was just curious on what that looked like, but again, if that's premature, that's fine.
No, I think he could do that pretty quickly because he's already seen all these places. And I think if I asked him that, he could probably do that in a couple of days.
I would include the ones in harvesters as well,
It's
especially if any of them appear to be danger.
Well, some of them are broken. I mean, the top of it is broken. If you drive around, especially if
Right.
you look on Harvest Way, some of them broken completely.
Is he,
Top side
is he
is
putting
broken.
rebar in the top? Where is?
Joe, I don't know
I
that.
thought that was in there.
It may be, but I was
Yeah,
just-
I
Yeah,
read
it
rebar.
says install rebar.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It says install rebar into existing.
Yeah, we're not able to be sourced from supplier, had to be formed by concrete. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of these, you find that people measure wrong when they go down, and then they end up in the little piecemeals where the two sections don't meet together. And then that's when you end up with all this extra work,
Well, and
because
then we
it's
had the
like
trouble
washed
over on
out
Turner.
in between
We had the trouble over
turns.
on Turner, it was built up this high above the ground, and so it was causing it to run over the road. So you had to cut the top off of that one, you know, to be able to even make it down where it was low enough to drain. So, I mean, he's running into all kinds of things, working on these that he shouldn't run into, but he is. So, but if you want, I'll ask him to rebid everything
If you see that some of them in harvesters are, a hazard, yeah, I would
Yeah.
include them all
Okay,
and not wait until the paving.
all right.
That's just,
When are we looking at barley, milo, and wheat getting,
Next spring, you mean as far
For
as
the
paving?
spring, yeah.
Next spring.
are we bidding those out this?
Well, we
Winter
haven't even
for
gotten the
spring?
engineering back on those yet.
Oh.
So
The
we will
bids
do,
went.
I thought we would do the bidding in the winter
Right.
and then try to get it in the spring.
And Tim, this is Greg, in regard to a comment you made earlier about the COVID money, timelines, do we have any concerns with that?
If we do it this fiscal year, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm allocating funds toward it, so.
Yeah, no, that's all I was curious if, again,
The Treasury
rebidding
thinks it's coming.
as one project combined, getting all of them in, again, we, try to work through that, process with timelines. And like I said, I know it's premature, you haven't spoken to him about it, but again, we just need to be conscious of, what those guidelines are as far as spending that money.
Oh, believe me, Sean, keeping up on that closely.
Gotcha. All right.
I've lost sleep over it. The sidewalk project, made me 8
Yeah.
to 10 years.
Yeah, okay, I'll get with him and we'll do it that way. We'll rebid it and try to bid it as fast
I will tell you guys one thing, just look back 3 years ago, we were begging to find contractors to do work for the city.
as we were.
I'm not
This guy-
displeased with
This guy has
anything that
been
he's done.
outstanding, I'm telling you.
Right, I'm not
Outstanding.
displeased with anything that he's
He really
done.
has been outstanding.
Yeah.
He's,
He has.
it's a black box on the ground.
And he's been very responsive.
Yeah, very
you know,
great.
To everything we
Honestly.
asked him to do, so I've been pleased with his work too. Okay, item 6, resolution adopting and approving municipal road A co-op. Now, this is something you all have seen before, several times. This is it. It allows us to participate in 3% retainage. It is 3%, right? Somewhere in there, basically it says that anything we get through state road aid, rural and municipal aid for state roads, we're cooperating in the self-insurance program. They retain a portion of it. Then if we have a need, we make application, and if the money's there, it's funded. If it isn't, it's like a self-insurance program. And we participated in it every year so far. So we need a resolution. I need a resolution approved by council in order to participate. So I need a motion to adopt the resolution. Motion by Michelle, second by Joe.
Formality.
Any discussion? Yeah, it is a formality, honestly. Any discussion on the motion? All right, again, we need to call the roll on this one because each of you needs to sign it.
I'll pass it around. Mr. Saylor,
Yes.
Mr. Duzey,
Yes.
Mr. Tanner,
Yes.
Mrs. Morris. Sorry, I'm reading something on my screen. I apologize. Mrs. Bowman,
Yes.
And Greg, you okay with it?
Mr. Livingood.
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Jeff, Leo?
I got it. If you don't mind, sign under the eyes, please. No one has one. Thank you.
Okay, on the Crittenden Nature Park, item number 7.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So for innovation, there's two estimates, so.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and they are, do I have those?
Yeah, you got them.
I might have them. Okay, you all each have a copy of this as well. This is on, and you look at it and just see what it would encompass. The weed eat around the lake, use the backhoe to dig the bank, and Joe, did you talk to Logan?
I was off the grid, I couldn't have
Okay.
any way.
I asked him to
My opinion
contact you.
hadn't changed, so.
I asked him to contact you, he said he would on it, engineer, but basically what it says is, they would take their backhoe, go around the front. Here's the problem with keeping that mowed and weed eating right in the front by the dam and on, a little bit on this side, but mostly in the dam. As you step down, and we went over there and looked at it, as you step down the face of the dam, right under the water's edge, an inch, 2 inches, it slopes this way, when it should slope this way, and it's allowing aquatic weeds to grow up in the water line. The way that I see, and the reason I came up with this is because this happened on my farm pond, and I went to the ASC office, and I was told if you cut it straight, that it would be deep enough that it would not cause that to happen. It would cause that not to happen, say it that way. So I asked JD to take a look at getting Pro Innovations to just straighten that out so it would drop enough that it would not allow for weeds to grow up that 1 inch, aquatic plants to grow up that 1 inch, and then spray the bank, kill it out. Joe and I went over there and looked, and Joe's expressed a concern about removing any portion on the front part of the dam because of the thing that the state keeps yelling about with the dam, frankly, thinking that it's, needs other work being done on it, and it does. I'm not gonna quibble with it. I've asked Logan to get in touch with you, and I know you've been gone for a week, but if you want, we can simply pass this item, and then, I can ask him to contact you this week as well.
Let me offer you an alternative,
Okay?
and it's kind of the 80-20 rule. The side of the lake that faces Violet Road, we can do whatever we want to there.
Yes.
That should not be a problem, take that off the table.
Right.
But the dam side, I'm strongly against that.
Okay.
I'm against that from the standpoint of how you calculate the forces on a dam. It's based on the height of the liquid, the geometry of the angle inside the dam, and then the height and the specific gravity of the soil and the rocks behind it. Anything you take off the top of that, even if it's a small amount, it might be infinitesimal, but it might be a lot. We're talking about dump trucks that are gonna be using with a skid loader. We got excited over a fence post. I'm getting excited over a dump truck. I don't have any problem at all. We've got an infinite amount of soil on 3 sides of that lake. Let's just do a closer study, because removing that, I guarantee you it's not zero.
Oh,
Is
I
it
don't think
1%, 2% reduction? I don't know. But it is not zero.
That's the reason I'd like to have him speak with you about it, because I know, that's a concern you've had. And, I'd rather everybody be comfortable with it before we do it. Make sure that
Or
we-
you can vote on it tonight. I feel strongly I need
I'd rather
to
not.
voice my opinion.
I'd rather not.
And again, I jumped in on this some time ago and raised those same kind of concerns, and, as long as Logan or, some engineering group, has assured everything, will remain, intact, then I could go along with it, but if that still has, that conversation has not been had, and, the concerns are not alleviated, then, I would be concerned also, Joe.
Yeah, that's the reason I'd rather just
I
pass this
actually-
tonight.
I think there's things we can propose for a long-term solution, but it's work and it's more money.
Okay, let's pass this to our next, meeting, which we anticipate to be,
So you want to
You wanna
revise
give him
this
that-
Violet Ridge side at all, or just?
You want to pass the 80% tonight?
well, I'd really rather do it all at once, because I think, just like he said, it's gonna be cheaper.
Once you get a piece of equipment out there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is when they start doing the nature park,
Exactly.
they'll be there, right?
They'll
They'll
already
have
have-
equipment there,
They
so.
already have their equipment there, so, and again, I think this is something to be done pretty quickly. We're
Yeah.
talking,
To me, it's not a matter of money. It's not that.
$1,700.
yeah,
It's
it's
not.
not. It's not the money, because
Yeah.
you can see it's a cheap one. But I don't mind passing this, and then we'll see how it turns out if you want to do that too. And if you talk to Logan, it's well within the discretion of the mayor to pay that kind of money. So, we can do that, and then I can just give you all a call. Okay. Right now, we'll pass it until November,
It's either the 24th of this month or the November 14th date.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let me come back to that issue. All right, next, on the 208 property, the north, excuse me, the North Main property, the old trailer park area, you'll notice that we have had a lot of cleaning done there on the corner of Violet Road and 25, and it looks very good. I think Rob Rowland did that for the gentleman who purchased it. However, our property looks worse as a result of it. If you look at the, I'll say the valley down there, or whatever that is, I had JD go down and walk through it, and he walked through it with Pro Innovations. And there have been a lot of things, I'll say it this way, dumped in there. There's been rock, there's been pipes, there's been old steel, there's been concrete broken, there's been all kinds of stuff in there. So anyway, they say, Pro Innovation says that, well, you can read what they say they would have to do. They'd have to grub out and grind up the trees to the street property line, due to the excessive rock piles dumped in the trees, FECON, whatever that is, machine cannot.
Decontaminate.
Huh?
Decontaminate, they gotta
Is that what it is?
separate the debris, it's not just
Okay.
shovel and go, it's,
I don't know what a FECON machine is, but maybe y'all do. It can't be used anyway. It said the job would require a track hoe to clean the undergrowth. Track hoe would be used to lay out the trees to be ground up by the FECON and clear the undergrowth, level out the rock piles, and then he's estimating the hours there necessary to get it done, and you see the amount, $88.50. So, again, that, I'd like to have your all's input as to whether or not you think we should move forward with that. Now, if we do, somewhere down the line, market that property to someone, which we're trying to do, that would of course become something that they would probably do. But in the meantime, you know, we are pushing pretty hard to get all that corner cleaned up, and it does look a lot nicer. I don't know what you all think, but I think what they've done as far as cleaning up all that wild olive and all that stuff that was in there, and, you know, that whole area just looks nicer with that. So what's your pleasure on that? Floor is open for discussion by council. Want to address it?
When they clear that land with the,
I'm sorry.
when they clear that land with that forestry head, which I'm assuming is what that is, it's a little similar to what they did on the corner of Miller and 25. What they cleaned up on the corner of Violet Road and 25 is a lot cleaner because they removed the trees and they removed the brush. When you clear that up, it looks good, but it kind of makes a mess for land clearing or whatever next. So, you know, my vote, or my 2 cents would be, look into doing the same thing that they did on the corner there versus, I mean, those FECON heads work good for underbrush and things like that, but you can end up with just a bunch of mulch and stumps and stuff that looks good, but in the long run, might not be as appealing to somebody. I would at least get another bid to, or have them rebid it to also clean it. That area is rough.
Okay.
It's rough. I mowed it one time, it's rough. You know, and there is a lot of rocks and random stuff here and there, but when you go through with that head, it does a good job. When you take a tree that big, you end up with a stump like this and just mulch mixed in with dirt and everything else. I'd like to see them also bid it to remove it, like they did on the corner, because that looks pretty nice.
That does look nice. Okay.
They seed it, straw it, it's gonna be grass grow
Yeah.
back. If you go in there with a mulching head,
That's a FECON.
it's not gonna be a very
Oh,
mowable.
okay.
It'll be bush hoggable,
Looks good. Yeah.
right, it'll,
Good.
but it's not gonna be mowable.
Now, the price might dictate what we want to do later, but
Yeah.
at least we got an idea what it is.
So what is a FECON head?
It's what I call a forestry head. It's just a great big metal drum that this thing just rotates at a high rate of speed. and it
Chew
just-
stuff up?
It'll
Yeah.
take a tree this big and just
Okay,
mow it down.
here's
All
your,
right.
pass it
Yeah.
around, pass it down.
So-
Okay.
They're awesome machines.
I know what it is now that he's described it.
It's an
Okay.
oversized stump grinder,
I've seen
is
it
what
used.
it is.
So you're saying then to get a bid like what was done up there by just
Similar to that,
scrubbing it?
to get rid of it, yes,
Okay.
yes.
What's everybody else think? Everybody rather go that way? And
Be good to see what the number is.
Yeah, compare the two. I mean, we may
Okay.
decide that, hey, this is what we want to do, but I would like to look at both of them.
I'll go back to Pro Innovations then. Actually, I'll send JD back to Pro Innovations and ask them to look at it and then ask him to see if he can do something. I don't know that we could get Josh interested because he's got some big job he's doing down on Route 8 now. He did an excellent job up there, but I don't know. But anyway, we'll see what we can do there. Okay, number 9 is an added ordinance number 323 for first reading. And that is 323, 2023. It's an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city. And you all will remember what this is.
it's extension of that resolution.
It goes along with the resolution, actually. The resolution was allowing this to occur, which is to change the zoning classification of the properties that are now R3 to highway commercial that are at, basically, I'll say, at the corner of Violet and 25. All right, there are
It's four parcels.
1, 2, there are four, yes, there are 4 parcels there, and I could read you the numbers, but it won't mean anything to you. They're 042-01-00-14. That means nothing, but you all know what they are. It winds up being about 5 acres, something like that, 4.48 or
I don't remember.
right at 5 acres, I think, right in there. But anyway, it's changing the zoning classification to HC, highway commercial. All right, everybody familiar with that? It's first reading, so you don't need to vote on it, but just need you to understand what it is, and we'll set the second reading for,
And that's from like Hodges up to the railroad tracks. Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know where Hodges lives, I'm sorry.
Well,
It's-
no, the.
Ahodge, yes.
Ahodge.
Oh, from
Mr.
Ahodge?
Sinner's property in north.
All the way up to the.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay, so this would be, well, let's address that. The second reading would be at our next meeting. So do you all anticipate another meeting on the 24th? Or are you looking at November the 14th, the second Tuesday? I'm not asking for a vote now, I'm just asking for a voice. Anybody see a reason to do the 24th, or would you just as soon go to the 14th?
How urgent is the highway commercial piece?
Not.
As I said,
Everybody
I
good
might
with
be
14?
coaching-
Pardon?
I may be coaching a soccer game that night.
Which one?
For the 24th,
Yeah,
so I prefer November if possible.
so 14 good with most people? 14.
And Jim, I'll be back in town on the 14th of November, but sometime I have to call in if we do the other one.
Okay. Well, then we'll anticipate right now 14th on that.
Okay.
And that will also make the, there was another one I passed for some reason. Which one was it?
The nature park.
Oh, the nature park. Make that the 14th too. Okay, old business, street update, street project updates. You all have probably been around and seen as much as I have. The only thing that's pending right now that I'm aware of is Oakwood.
Yes.
If anybody's aware of anything else, let me know, but Oakwood is coming along very nicely. I've been very pleased with the projects they made. I don't know if you all been down there and looked at it, but they're done with, they can pour concrete. I think they're down to having to fix the driveways now.
Yeah.
And once they get that
Curbs are
done,
in here.
pardon?
The cul-de-sac curb is in.
Yeah, the curb is in. Yeah, they've done the cul-de-sac. So I think they're down to basically driveways and paving. So, and we made one large payment so far, so
Yeah.
hopefully by your next meeting, that will be completed.
As far as you know, the quantities that were estimated are consistent with.
They've been dead on.
So
at
far,
this
so good.
moment. You know,
Honestly, they look good.
I haven't seen anything out of the way at all,
No surprises. that-
No surprises underground, yeah.
Mm.
It's been amazing.
which is a
Awesome.
shock, to be honest.
And Jim, this is Greg. In regard to that particular project, is there an ETA as far as deadline for them to finish, or is it, again, just as ad hoc, according to weather and stuff?
The latter, Greg.
Okay, I just didn't know yet if there was an actual end date that they put into the actual project plan or something, so, okay.
No, but I'll tell you this, the way they're moving, it's not gonna be that much longer.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that they want to wrap it up before, weather starts to change too, so.
Okay, on the nature park update,
Just on the streets,
I'm
did
sorry.
they fix, there was a couple driveways or something they needed to fix on,
yes, there was
Bingham
Mr.
Lane.
Kinman's and one other. I had Logan talk with them about the two. They said that they had a project they're doing in Dry Ridge, that when they come to do that project, they're gonna do those as well. I have not checked back with
It
Logan to see
was
if they've done
Bingham
the
and
project.
Ridgeway, right?
Pardon?
There's one on Bingham and one on Ridgeway. I got the old notes.
Jerry's over on Ridgeway, and Mr. Kinman.
Well, Jerry can't complain. That's not fair.
Yeah, we won't listen to him anyway. And Mr. Kinman over on Bingham.
Mr. Kim, that's
And they're supposed to, when they go, have they fixed yours yet, Jerry?
No.
No, okay. Then they're supposed to do those two when they do the Dry Ridge project. But I brought that up with Logan at least twice, so we'll stay on it, make sure they do something there.
Kim, you said on Bingham?
It's Mr. Kinman.
Get up.
I can't remember his first name.
Barry?
Barry.
It's very
There you
good.
are.
Thank you.
Okay, on the nature park updates, that's supposed to start this week. If anybody has an interest in looking at it, there's a sketch as to what we're going to begin by doing. It's pretty easy to read, honestly, even for me. I believe, and I asked you about this earlier, I think the state has made us move this entrance from here. I think they made us move it a little bit further east. I don't know, but looking at what we're looking
Looks
at.
like the stakes have moved, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they flagged it.
For some reason, they sent that around and this had already been approved, but then they just called Logan and said, we changed our mind, basically, so you would have to move that entrance from here to here. But it doesn't really change anything with it, other than it just, for some reason, they didn't like the entrance being that far west. I don't know why. So, other than that, this is accurate. So if anybody wants to take a look at what's going on. I do have a meeting, and I can't tell you the date. Did you ever look for the lady that's the architect?
I didn't see an agreement.
Okay. I do have a meeting with a lady who I've spoken with, who's a landscape architect. I've asked her to come here purely for informational purposes, that once this is done, to give us some idea of what they would recommend as far as features you put in there, what you know, how you, what you would do, how you go about it, that sort of thing. So, I
The
think,
internal part.
yeah, I think that's this week. I'm gonna have to find out. I swear, I
We'll
lost.
find out. I'll look over it.
I had it written down, it was in my truck, and I couldn't find it, so, but I'm pretty sure it's this week, we'll have to call her and verify that. But I'll let you know what she says.
You know, one thing that we talked about that we didn't consider in this bid, and maybe we'd want to do a scope change, but eventually I'd like to see electricity where that dock's gonna be. Well, since we're gonna have simple work done anyway, without tying it into anything, we could put in some underground conduit and wire for some future installation if we wanted to.
For, like, into the middle?
Pardon? To the dock.
For what? For lighting or for what? Just curious. For lighting?
Well, for lighting or plugging in whatever down the road.
It's best to
If
do it now.
if we could get it for something cheap, they're gonna be digging trenches and digging up anyway, but if we could get the wire already down, the conduit down, when they do that, we could decide whether we want that or not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so electrical conduit,
I don't know where the
to
power
the
would
dock.
come from.
Yeah, there's poles there, they can pull power from
That's where
pole
we gotta
bits.
get.
You're gonna need a small transformer as well, so you gotta drop it down. Depends on what you want. If you want a fountain in the middle, you need power.
Yeah, if
If
you're
you
talking
want
about 110.
lighting only, then it's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
possible.
yeah, just, I could see entertainment being down there someday. I could see lighting being down there someday. I've seen that
Might just be the
being
conduit.
a mini amphitheater.
Well, it's not-
Put in conduit, can you pull wire through that later? I mean, is that,
Oh,
Yeah, there'd be ways to do that.
okay. So we just put in conduit.
Yeah, I'm just saying to save a little money, you're gonna be tearing the ground up anyway.
Okay, I'll talk with Logan about adding electrical conduit. Okay. Okay.
Maybe.
Other discussions?
Since we're looking at this, if there's going to be blacktop or concrete down to the lake itself, to where there may be some close access, one thing you may wish to consider is putting in a dry hydrant. Something that is run underneath and it just sits there. But in case there is, God help us, a catastrophic event, we lose water pressure, that dry hydrant can be used for the fire department for fire suppression activities. And we're talking probably less than 5,000 total to put one in. The one that was there at the dam is non-operational. We've tried accessing it.
So there was one previously.
Yes, it was at the dam, but it has sunk so low that it cannot be accessed.
Everybody okay with me at least asking them to take a look into that and see?
And that would be to pull water out of the lake?
That is correct. We could put one of our engines there, and in case structure fire, loss of water pressure, then we could pull water from that and use it.
So that'd be on this side of the lake.
Yep, but that close to the rest of the residences, it'd be a heck of a lot nicer than having to go across the interstate to get it.
Okay. All right, I'll ask them to look at that as well, if you're all good with it, and we'll come back and see the price on it. Okay. Anything else? Okay, on the lighting project, it's done. Number 3. I know, there's one.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah, it's been 2 years.
Thanks, everybody.
I know.
Michelle's been beating herself up over this, but
This is one
anyway,
project we had a member pass away. That's how long it took.
it's, yeah, there's only one more light to be put in. They're gonna put one light here, on this pole in the parking lot. They're gonna turn it in.
Yeah, when you go outside tonight, see how dark it is, in a couple weeks, it'll be a lot brighter.
That should be done within the next week,
Yeah, they said 3 to 5 business days, so it should be done by next week.
and that will complete everything.
Yeah, this is Greg. So
Yes.
you're saying that that project is completed, except for one light?
Yes, that's correct, Greg. Just the one that and it's one we added. It's one to be added
That's fine.
in the parking lot here.
It's for my safety, Greg.
At the city building.
No, that's perfect. The rest of the project was, I was trying to make sure that I heard that correct. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, it is. And take a look at it as you drive through town. I think you'll notice a big difference.
Are we looking at doing the decorative ones, just doing the
We haven't yet.
transition?
We haven't even begun that project yet, no. No, that's, of course, up to you all. If you want to begin that. Yeah, if you all want to start looking into that, that's another thing we can begin. Now, that's going to be a bigger deal, of course, than the street lighting, but if you want to start looking at that, we can ask Duke.
And I'd like to go back to our friends from Owen and finish the
And Owen
city out.
County, yeah. Owen
The
County
portion of the
RCC.
west side of the city is Owen Electric, so
Yeah.
those streetlights are not gonna be changed.
Are you all
as of
in Owen
today.
County?
So,
Are you all in Duke or Owen County?
Owen,
Owen,
Well,
so
that's what we are.
that side of the city won't be
No.
touched at this
There's
project.
3
so-
lights out there, I think, that Danny was saying
I got it.
today have not been done, because I think they're Owen County lights. So
I
we
think
may need to
anything
look
on
at
the
that.
west side of the interstate's Owen.
Pardon?
I think anything on the west side of the interstate is Owen.
Not
I know I
everything.
am.
Not everything.
Huh?
There's, I mean, like Eads and Turner is Duke. There's some streetlights that are Duke.
Oh, yeah, everything down Turner, I'm sorry, everything down Valley Road is Duke, because they changed the lights out.
So it must came up from the south, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, that's kind of confusing.
Excuse me. Okay, number 4 is the zoning issue at Airport Towing. Leo?
Yeah, I don't wanna go back too far here, but this has been going on for over a year now. We came to an August 8th of 2022 meeting and expressed concerns about what was going on. Project was put in, trees were taken down, no site plan. Then November, they get a site plan. I mean, this guy's pretty much just doing what he wants to do. Building isn't in the right spot, gates aren't in the right spot. I don't think the retention pond's still done. I've been to judge executive, the city, code enforcer, magistrate, planning and zoning coordinator. Lights are still blaring in my side yard, and we came to an August 8th meeting, and my wife expressed her concerns over this, and there's still no trees done, lights are still blaring in my yard, and I think it's only fair that there's some kind of lighting study done. They might have done it on his property, but on my property. Several places in the ordinances, no light glare shall be on any adjoining property. No light glare shall be on any adjoining property, and yet it's still to be addressed. And I'm still not sure he's got an occupancy permit to operate. And this was put in as a reasonable test, and I feel like if we're the watchdogs of this, which I feel like we are, we're failing. So is there any update on the last we heard, August 8th, his attorneys were gonna let us know what he was gonna do. Where are we at with that?
I've heard nothing further other than the trees are supposed to be put in, as far as I was told, by the second week of October. I can check that again, but that's the only update that I know of.
So why would we not want him to conform to the rules? Why would we say we don't want any actions done for him to conform to the rules?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we don't want action done for him to conform.
Well, it has been brought up to step in to have him conform to the rules, but yet if we don't want to enforce that and we're letting this go on and on, what good are we doing for zoning ordinances or enforcing them or new businesses coming in? If things can just be done however you want, why do we even go through planning and zoning? Because I feel like that's what's being done. I mean, he's operating totally. And lights are blaring in my yard. We were here over a year ago before I was on council and expressed concerns. I'm still a little concerned that it's even an impound lot. So if it is a reasonable test, I feel like he's failed.
The real issue, I think, is the lighting. That appears to be the real issue. The only thing I know we can do there is, again, ask that someone who is degreed, someone from Duke, perhaps, but I don't know who else to get unless you all want to think of someone who we could employ to come here to take a look at this issue and advise whether or not they believe that this is an issue that would deserve litigation, because that appears to be where we're going, you know, if we do that. But this is really a concern I think that the council has to do, Chief. Hang on there. So if you all think that we should employ someone, perhaps somebody that does this kind of thing, I don't know who to do it, but it's up to council. If you all want to look into someone to come here, a lighting engineer, if there is such a thing, is there such a thing, Joe? I don't know about engineering.
There's ways of measuring it. I mean, there are instruments for measuring it, but I would think that we could get Duke to do that free.
Duke has done it twice, and I've gotten the information, I've shared that with Leo. Duke has done it twice, and Duke says they're within parameters
For his lot,
for his lights,
for his lot,
for his lot.
not my lot, for his lot. And there
I just
isn't,
don't like that it's on your lot, I'm trying to follow you. You're losing me here. Sorry.
Leo, address the
Sorry.
council, please.
yeah.
You're losing me. It sounds like about you.
So it's about ordinances that does affect any property. It's not just one.
All right.
It's multiple things. But, you know, I feel like they can do a study. You know, when it says no glare, the ordinance say no glare, it should be no glare. You know, so that's my take on it.
So what's your all's thoughts?
And let me ask you a question about that. The new home that caught fire and is right across from his place, you know, have those folks also complained? Because, again, the last time I drove down that place, that looked like the place that I would, you know, definitely have to, you know, somebody came out with that. And I know Leo's has brought it up on a number of occasions, and again, you know, according to the ordinance, following that, there is some current concern there. I don't know where you go to get someone to come in and do the study. Maybe KLC has some insight or something like that. But again, I know that person that is right on that corner, that new home that just went in, the last time I drove past there, I mean, it was definitely right on the house. So again, if there's concern there, we're going to get additional folks that'll be bringing up some concerns down the road also, I would think.
I think that's a rental, I'm not sure.
It's an Airbnb,
An
there's
Airbnb,
not a
right.
full-time resident that lives there.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, that's great, but
Not that that
again,
matters.
Well, at the same time, the last time I believe your wife was here, there's other people that live on Case Lane complain about the glare further down from you though. So the glare complaint's real. I don't think that's,
Yeah.
we don't need to waste time on
And the
that
only way
part.
that I know to address that is to have someone who can go to court and testify, you know, have, you know, it would take someone with some degree, somebody who's an expert in that area to say that it is violative in some way, and then refer it to our attorneys to file an action to force that to be conformed. And I mean, that's the only way I know to proceed on this. So that's the reason I'm asking y'all's what you all think, because this is going to be something I think that if we get into this, I'm not saying we should, I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm saying this is your all's decision. It is something that, it's gonna be expensive when we get started, but it's up to you all. If you wanna get into it, and I understand Leo's concern. I'm not discounting that. I'm only saying that, you know, go into this with your eyes open, because it is going to get to be litigious and it's gonna get expensive, but we can do it.
Now, the trees, those are supposed to be put in this month because it has to be a certain temperature.
Correct. They said that would be
Yeah.
by the second week in October.
But are they gonna be tall enough to fix the problem
They're going to be.
in about
what's on
10
the-
years?
They're gonna be, yeah, probably. They're gonna be what's on the site plan.
Yeah.
White Pines.
Well, there was like many different issues, like as Leo spoke, there was a
Yeah.
lot of things that weren't followed.
Correct.
Not done correctly, not enforced.
Correct.
Um,
Enforcement, as I've said before.
And a lot of those weren't not due to the city, it was the county.
Current.
Actually, it's a joint city-county. It's the cities that, you know, it's not fair to say this is the county's problem. The planning commission is a joint planning commission.
Okay,
It's county and city. When the planning commission is acting within the city, they're acting for the city. So in fact, it is a city problem, more than it is a county problem, because the only reason it's a county problem at all is because it is a joint committee.
so the planning commission of the county is representing the city.
Yes.
So, and that representation is not being followed through, so why isn't the city leaning on the county saying, make this happen?
That's not the county's problem. It is a joint commission. When they're in the city, acting within the city, they're a city problem. The county can't tell the planning commission, go to Crittenden and do this. That's your all's decision. That's why you all just voted on a zoning ordinance. The county makes recommendations, but you make the decisions. That's the reason I'm saying, you know, I'm asking for direction on how you all want to go here. The only way that I see that we can resolve this glare issue is through an expert, and then if the expert comes back and says, no, it is a glare, then litigation would be instituted by our attorneys against.
And it's more than just a glare on the homes, it's a glare on US 25 if you're heading north. As soon as you break that corner, those lights are dead right in your face.
We wouldn't be representing that. That would be the state that would do that if they do that. Our concern would be our residents. We can't represent the state, we don't have standing. But we can represent us.
I don't think the study would be that expensive for litigation. We would, maybe it'd be worth doing this in steps.
Well, we could, I mean, I don't know who to contact, but I'll
Well,
call
maybe-
KLC and ask.
I think Greg suggested we talk with KLC.
I'll be
see if
happy
they
to do
can-
that.
If we can get someone to measure, and I think that measurement wouldn't be expensive, it'd probably be $1,000 or $2,000.
Does that require a motion for that to happen?
It doesn't really, I just need your direction, is really all I'm asking for at this point in time, because I don't know the cost of it yet. I'll have to come back to you with costs.
If we had the number, that alone might be enough. If it-
Now,
if
you'll
it-
never get a number for litigation. You'll get a number for the study.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that might be enough.
But I'll be happy to go to KLC and ask them if they can get an expert who would do the study and come and give us their opinion within the parameters of the current zoning ordinance.
That would be my preference, Jim.
Okay? Everybody else good with that?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Well, if it is affecting a house, shouldn't he have to pay for it?
That's my point. Yes, sir. Thank you. That's my point. Are we talking about the glare right now?
The
In the
lights.
city of Grant?
I'm sorry, but you aren't on the
The
agenda.
lights that shine into Leo's.
I'm sorry, but
I
you're not on the
know,
agenda.
Leo's upset, so I'm sorry.
Okay,
as well,
that
but, like,
completes-
I agree with you, like, let
Sir,
Leo have
you're
it.
not on the agenda. Please hold your remarks. Okay, that completes our agenda. Does anyone else have anything further?
I got a glare.
You're not on the agenda, I'm sorry. I need a motion to adjourn until the 14th.
14th.
Motion,
I'll make the motion.
motion by Greg, second by Angie, those in favor. We're standing adjourned.